Hey, he's Miguel. This is a broken turd.
Yay! I'm Miguel, and this is Alex, and this is my 1995 300ZX. Me and Alex are gonna attempt to rebuild this car in 5 days, and it's going to be better than a new Z. This is built versus bought. Let's get to work. Alex is hopped up on way too much coffee right now.
Let's go.
We're about to hop in the car and drive for 3 hours.
Let's go.
Is it really a build if it doesn't start with a road trip and way too much optimism? Me and Alex woke up at the ass crack of dawn to go pick up my freshly built engine one state over.
Gotta feed Alex. If not, he's not gonna help me.
Works for food. I can eat something real now.
How far are we?
We are 6 minutes away. Honestly, it all feels very surreal. But this is like my first big boy build. Big engine, big turbos, nice everything. I don't know, it's a real blessing that I get to do this now instead of when I'm 50 and 60 and too old to enjoy it.
Here she is. Here's Brian. He builds a lot of engines for Z32s in the Southeast.
Make sure you get my good side.
What are you doing, Alex?
Making sure we don't lose an engine.
Again.
After hours on the road through beautiful Tennessee, we finally made it back to Alex's house. Julian helped us unload the engine, and I immediately left to go gather all the random parts I hoarded over the last year. Now, I know it's a little weird, but I have this pre-build ritual where I lay out all the parts in one place and just stare at them. It helps me wrap my head around the chaos I just signed up for. Let me know in the comments if y'all do anything like that too. Back at Alex's, I got to work on the injectors and instantly ran into my first problem.
Is this gonna fit?
Nothing fits. Classic.
That don't look like it's gonna fit. So as part of the upgraded, So as part of the fuel upgrade, I'm putting these new injectors in. They're better because they're top feed and I've got new fuel rails. But the issue is that this O-ring is too fat to fit into the intake manifold. And I'm trying to grease it up and fit it in, get it in there, and it's just not working. Story of my life. But I need to run back to O'Reilly's once again to see if I can get another O-ring. I feel like most of this build is gonna be me driving back and forth to O'Reilly's. What do you think, Alex?
O'Reilly's?
Oh!
2 trips to O'Reilly's later, because of course I didn't get it right the first time, I finally found the right size O-rings, got the injectors in, then I hit another snag. This fuel system was starting to feel personal.
These are 6N fittings and they weren't fitting right. Turns out the 6 orb to 6N is what's needed. Lucky for me, I've got the converters.
Look at that. I made my first fuel line, and it only took me 4 tries. World record. I also noticed the factory timing cover bolts were rusted and the gaskets were toast. So I picked up this titanium bolt kit from Z-Spec. It's a bit of bling when you pop the hood, and it plays nice with the clear covers.
All right guys, today was a pretty good day. Got the timing belt cover bolts on, got a new water coolant sensor on, got the oil temp and pressure sensor on. Also did the new IDX injectors in the car. Those were kind of difficult for me, honestly. O-rings were kind of fat. I'm lubing them up, I'm greasing them, I'm trying to get them in there, and I'm really kind of having to manhandle it. In that effort to get those in, I had to take the fuel rails off like 3 times today. And then I realized the fittings I bought weren't the right one. I had to take them off a fuel pressure regulator, then put them on the rails again. I mean, it was like the 4th time I took the rails off. A lot of the stuff I'm doing is new to me, so I make mistakes. Day 2, we've already gotten started on removing some of the inlet piping, getting the bumpers off, headlights, and making room for all the stuff that we're gonna change in the engine bay. Still waiting on parts. Some of the stuff doesn't get here till tomorrow. So me and Alex are just gonna make the best of it. Just do what we can. This storm really threw a lot of shit off for us.
Nothing says good planning like starting a build the same week as a tornado watch.
Are looking at that potential for not only tornadoes, but maybe some stronger long track tornadoes.
Having fun yet?
No.
So the Specialty Z turbo inlet pipings are a real bitch to install. This had to come out just to get the pipe out.
I'm looking at this right. This is the intercooler side. This is the intake side. So we gotta go get some hose to connect this to the other end of the turbo piping. So we have blow-off valves.
Cool. And then cap the other side.
You cap the intake side.
I'm gonna plumb that directly into the interior of the car so I can hear the whooshing
nut
noises.
chillers.
We wrestled with the intercoolers next. These units are thick boys and taller than stock, so getting them to fit was a workout. Alex had an even harder time trying to clear his evap canister, but hey, third time's the charm.
Amazing work. This is Alex. Alex said he'd help me with my car,
You have
but he has a lot of clients calling him all the time.
We should do the brake flush, but
And he's saying he's gonna get another car in here, and I'm saying no. But he's smiling because he knows he's gonna get another car in here, and I'm screwed.
Okay.
Yeah, see, look. Okay, I'm screwed. I'm totally screwed. Yeah,
Alex did end up
nice.
kicking me out. Subscribe if you want to make me feel better.
So a big reason people say these cars are unreliable is because the Plenum is so hard to take off that people don't maintain them. And the reason this Plenum is so hard to take off is because of all of these water lines under here. They make it a real pain in the ass to get to your spark plugs, your injectors, your coils. So the owners just skip maintenance because they rather not deal with this Plenum. So in an effort to make this car more reliable, which is really just easier to maintain, I'm getting rid of these water lines.
This is usually the first thing I recommend Z32 owners do. It's a simple delete that makes maintenance way easier down the road. Caden Parsons has a great tutorial on YouTube. I'll drop the link in the description.
All right, so the Plenum's all clean. All the unnecessary water hoses are gone. I've got all the metal brackets done. And you can actually stop right here and you're done. Super easy. But I want to grind off all the extra little metal outlets because I think it'll give me a cleaner look and I think it'll look really cool in slow motion. Perfect. All right, guys, that's a wrap for day 2. We did the intercooler 4 times because they didn't fit, but we got it in. Inlet piping for the turbo, kind of a bitch because you gotta take the condenser out, the radiator's gotta be gone. Like, it's not necessarily an upgrade that I would recommend doing unless you've got the engine out and everything else. I think if you haven't done intercooler piping or bigger intercoolers, I would start there. We aren't really where I would hope we'd be right now due to a lot of shipping delays and honestly having to do things over and over again, but this is kind of how these builds go. I think the trend for this build is gonna be so nice we did it twice.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp issued a state of emergency ahead of the storm system. The state of emergency grants state agencies powers to mobilize resources, activate emergency operations, and respond to storm damage and power outages. It will remain in effect through Tuesday.
Day 3. As you know, there's been a delay in this entire build because we've been waiting on one part, and this part has finally arrived. So now that I have this T, I'm able to do the water lines, and that's what I'm gonna focus on today. If you think about what this car was in the 90s, it's basically a supercar. If you think the NSX was a supercar, if you think the GTR was a supercar, if you think the Supra was a supercar, I don't see why you wouldn't consider a twin-turbo Z32 a supercar. It's kind of what Nissan gave us because we didn't get the GTR. It's not an unreliable car. It just requires maintenance, and because maintenance is so hard, people let them ride. The goal when you're building one is to make sure that you simplify the maintenance. So my goal today is to get these lines figured out. All right, let's get to work. So what I've done here is I've added billet water outlets and silicone water lines. These water lines rot and they're really hard to get to unless the engine's out. In addition to that, I'm running 6 AN lines, and what AN lines are is they're lined with Teflon, then around that Teflon you have steel, and around that steel you've got nylon. That makes the line super burst resistant, and it also helps them deal with any kind of wear or heat. They improve reliability in the sense that I don't have to maintain it.
Well, I'll show you what I bought.
What'd you buy, man?
I hit up Harbor Freight. I bought this fancy little kit.
What is that?
All the 10s.
All the 10s?
All the 10s. All the size 10s you can get. Right now we are mocking up the turbo for the first time. We got 5 more tries till it's right. We need to clock the turbos, make sure they're straight, make sure it's not hitting anything, make sure we can build lines that make it work, make sure it fits in the car, all those good things.
This space.
That's good. Line.
Yeah.
The state declared a weather emergency, but we kept pushing. The storm was on its way either way, parts were delayed, and I still managed to remake all the fuel and water lines I had already done the day before. 0 out of 10, do not recommend.
Well, that's the end of day 3. Alex was able to mock up the turbos, put them on there for me, so I can figure out the length of the lines that I wanted to run.
These turbo lines are a pain in the ass. Stick to the stock ones.
And as I was creating the AND lines for the water pipes that go to the turbo, I realized that I had done the previous ones incorrectly. So I once again had to take off the AND lines.
Aftermarket turbo lines suck.
And once again had to rebuild them.
Oil lines, water lines, all of it.
It's kind of eye candy.
It's gonna be pretty when it's done, but man, it's so much work.
They're gonna be worth it, I keep telling myself.
It'll be nice, it'll work great, but so does the stock stuff.
I did a little bit of wiring, added on to the engine harness. I had to add a few extra sensors. We realized that we were short some banjo bolts for the water lines that go into the turbo.
Aftermarket turbo lines suck.
Luckily, we were able to source some locally, and I am absolutely overbuilding this car for the power level that I'm doing. But I just really want to kick that new Z's ass, I do. Hey guys, here we are, day 4. Yesterday we realized we were missing one more banjo bolt. We got it. In addition, I'm learning a lot about myself. I've realized that every attempt that I've made to save a little money or kind of cut a corner, I've ended up deciding to redo. In the past, I've built a few cars and you buy the cheaper part, or maybe you do alligator connectors instead of soldering wires, things like that. And they always come back to bite me in the ass. This is just not the kind of build that I want to do. So today, I'm going to redo all the wiring I did yesterday. Alex is going to finish dressing up the turbos. Wish us luck. Let's see if we can hit our deadline.
I went home the night before and looked at my wiring work, and I felt a little embarrassed. That wiring specialties harness I bought was soldered, shrink wrapped, and loomed. Meanwhile, mine looked like it was built by hungry raccoons. After a little Googling and a $20 Harbor Freight run, I decided to redo it all. I'll be honest, it was worth it. Not just for the look, but because I finally felt like I did something right. While I'm having my little zen moment with wires, Alex is across the garage going to town with the die grinder.
I am cutting turbo bolts because they're hitting the turbo. Basically, I can't mount the turbo completely. They're aftermarket and they're too long. Modified and what they come like. So if they were stock, they'd be 4 times the price, but they'd be the right size. Use the stock stuff. So the wastegate has a linkage that needs to be synchronized to the other side. I removed it, I extended it too far. I broke it. 0. Should open at 17. I had to completely disassemble the wastegate and put it all back together from the beginning.
After the 11th time removing and reinstalling the turbos, they were finally done. Every line was routed, every bolt was tight. We were feeling unstoppable. If I got a subscriber every time Alex said use stock parts, I'd already be monetized. Help me out. Alex had to work on this giant truck, so we pulled the Z out of the garage with a lawnmower, parked it, and called it a night. Honestly, we're feeling hopeful. We might actually hit this deadline.
I gotta say, today felt like it was a really, really hard day for Alex. he looked like he was really hating it.
The little hiccups are what's holding us up. It's the modifications, the extra stuff. Use the stock parts. The bolts could have been stock. The lines could have been stock. I think we got more time making lines than we did taking the engine out of the car.
So, is it the car or is it the people?
I don't think it's the car.
I still got one more day, so hopefully we can knock that out. But I really do feel like we're probably gonna be able to get this engine in the next day we get out here.
The The storm we were watching all week was right around the corner, so it was a race against the rain to get this engine in before things turned biblical.
The front end of this line likely to have 60, 70 mile per hour winds, so power outages and down trees certainly possible.
All right, guys, day 5, a gloomy, ugly, rainy day. But today should be the day that we get the engine in. If everything goes according to plan, fingers crossed, hope we can hit that deadline. This is Built versus Bought. Let's get to work. Right here, what I have is the fuel lines that run up over the strut tower. You got your fuel filter, you got your return line. I was able to find a -6 fuel filter, and I decided that I'm gonna replace all of this with -6 line just so it's a lot cleaner, and then I can relocate the fuel filter out of sight.
Big thanks to Fuel Lab for sponsoring the build. If you want the same setup, I left links in the description. I knocked out the lines and mocked up the Fuel Lab filter. I still didn't have the regulator, so I used a spare one I had lying around to get the placement right. It did the trick for now. And then everything went sideways. The rain showed up like it had a vendetta, and within minutes Alex's garage started flooding. I panicked. I grabbed the first thing I saw, a broom, and started sweeping like I was bailing out the Titanic. Meanwhile, Alex, he grabbed a leaf blower and he's just blasting water.
You can see it flowing in.
I have no idea if it helped, but it definitely made us feel like we were doing something.
But this was bad. I was like, yo.
We spent hours trying to keep the water out, fighting the tide with tools from Home Depot's comedy aisle. It was chaos, it was hopeless, it was kind of fun. Before we knew it, the day was over. No engine, no dry socks, just 2 soggy dudes in a dead dream.
We failed.
Yeah, we didn't do it in 5 days.
We didn't do it in 5 days. We may not have got the engine in, but we did figure out your garage flooding issue, so.
Yeah, we fixed my flooding.
A win's a win.
Yeah, there's something.
Where does the build go from here? Now that we didn't hit the 5-day challenge, what's the new challenge?
Finish it. Finish it this year.
You heard it here first, baby. Will it get done? Will it won't get done? This is Built versus Bought. Let's go eat.